Hey everybody, happy Wednesday. Mark Causey here from Black Cat Comics in Rockin' Milpitas. Every Wednesday is New Comic Day and I like to give you some great reasons to go to black-cat-comics.com and pick up something fun to read. This week is packed with stuff that's fun to read, some of my favorite things to put out there. Let's go ahead and start with this guy. That's Batman number 102. This is probably the best-selling, most popular book in comics. Doesn't need a whole lot of help from me, but it's always a big week for Batman, so I like to start off with this guy. It's probably on your list. If for some reason you might have dropped this book after Joker War, I'd suggest keeping it on your list, because like I say, it's one of the best and most popular books in comics. That and its brother, Detective Comics. Batman The Adventures Continue, another one of everybody's favorite titles. Another book I like to talk about because, of course, it shows the incredible range of the character. Everybody loves Batman the Animated Series. Everybody's stoked to see new stories set in that universe. Everybody likes seeing DC characters that you didn't see back in the show in the new comics. So it's just tons and tons of fun. Pick up the reprint for number 1. Catch up to this week's latest issue. Like I say, everybody loves the Batman animated series universe. And speaking of other universe, and speaking of range of the character, Batman teaming up with the Max. I love the Max. It's one of those original Image titles by Sam Keith from way back in the day. There was an MTV animated series that was just awesomer than awesome. If you don't know much about the Max, pick this book up because you love Batman and get to know one of the coolest independent comic characters there ever was. That's the last issue of this, so pick up all 5 and treat yourself to something really great. Justice League. Another one of my favorite titles, another one of the best books out there. This is your Dark Knight Death Metal tie-in book of the week. Another book that doesn't need a whole lot of help from me. But if you're not reading Justice League, you're really missing out. If nothing else, it's got that amazing Liam Sharp art that everybody knows and loves. So pick up number 53 and catch up to this week's issue, especially if you're following the death metal stuff. Deceased, Dead Planet. Another huge book from the DC guys, another book that everybody's got on their list. Everybody loves zombies these days. This is the 3rd incarnation of Deceased, but you don't have to have read the other 2 volumes to get this one. Just pick up Dead Planet number 1 and catch up to the recent issue. Fun stuff there. Tales from the Dark Multiverse is back with the Dark Multiverse version of Hush. Everybody loves the Dark Multiverse. Everybody loves Hush. I'm a big fan of big double-sized one-shot specials. Good stuff there. Make sure a little pricey at $5.99, but always worth it for cool alternate versions of Batman. And Young Justice. It's your Brian Michael Bendis book of the week. Everybody into Young Justice. And then there's all kinds of other stuff that DC has that's always worth talking about. This is Victor and Nora. This is the latest YA graphic novel from DC Comics. There's been a ton of these. They've all been super popular, selling out like crazy. Everybody loved the Raven one, the Mira one. Now here's Victor and Nora. Speaking of classic Batman animated series, that's where everybody got to know and love Victor Freeze and poor Nora. Great story. Like I say, everybody's loved these YA graphic novels. If you don't know much about them, this one would be a great place to start. And then a lot of Black Label books to talk about. The Return of Sweet Tooth by Jeff Lemire. Sweet Tooth was the book that made him a household name in the world of comics. If you don't know much about Sweet Tooth, pick up the first trade paperback from the original series, or just grab this latest issue. Fun stuff there. The Dreaming Waking Hours. It's one of your Sandman Universe Black Label books of the week. And then Hellblazer Rise and Fall, which I guess technically is kind of, well, I guess that's not really Sandman-esque, but is more of the traditional Black Label stuff with the oversized edition and everybody loving Constantine these days. All kinds of great stuff from the DC guys. And a huge week for the Marvel guys. Let's start with some X of Swords. X-Men number 14 is part 12 of your 22-part X of Swords stories. Marauders number 14, part 13 of the X of Swords. Been encouraging you guys to jump into this X stuff. If there's an X book you're following, you're going to want to be following the other X books as it goes through all this X of Swords stuff. If you're not following any of the X books, it's a great time to sample all the different things in the X universe. A lot of different books, a lot of different creative teams, a lot of different characters, all in one sort of major apocalyptic story, no pun intended. Good stuff there. And Wolverine, Black, White, and Blood. It's your last X book of the week, the one that's not all X of Swords. Sort of an anthology issue with some of the top talent in comics working on Everybody's Crazy Canadian. Good stuff there. The Avengers, number 38. You know, it's my favorite title every time it comes out. Never miss an opportunity to talk about the A-Team. You can read more about this one in the newsletter. This is your jumping point after the whole Fist of Khonshu stuff. This one, there's a lot going on in the Avengers these days. Don't want to give away too much, but if you're an X-Men fan, it might be a good time to jump in on the Avengers. Either way, anything written by Jason Aaron and drawn by Ed McGuinness is a book that belongs in your stack. And that's it right there. Thor, number 9, another one of the best books Marvel does, another one of the red-hot titles. If you're one of the people who jumped out after number 6, you're really missing out because this second arc is just as good as the first one. Everybody should be following Thor right now. Black Widow. Good to see her back in her own title. A lot going on in this book as well. Everybody in anticipation of the movie that we're still waiting for. Everybody loves Black Widow. That one and Captain Marvel round out your Avengers-esque books of the week. Guardians of the Galaxy and Web of Venom bring back the Empire stuff that you thought had wrapped up. Everybody's loving these Web of Venom books. A lot of talk about Venom these days, along with Miles Morales. Another one of the most popular books in comics. Another one of the books that sells out every single time. If you're any kind of Spider fan, you should definitely be following Miles Morales these days. And U.S. Agent, back in his own title. The Guy Gardner of the Marvel Universe, back in his own book. A lot of talk about this guy rolling into the Falcon and Winter Soldier Disney Plus show. I'm, of course, a huge Captain America fan, which means I have a bit of a love-hate thing for U.S. Agent, but it's good to see him in his own title. That's a lot of fun. Star Wars, number 8. You know, I've been loving everything Star Wars that's been coming out of Marvel lately. This is, of course, the core title. Then there's Darth Vader, there's Dr. Aphra, there's the Bounty Hunters book. There's all kinds of Star Wars stuff going on these days. The core title is really, really good. All taking place in the Empire Strikes Back timeline, which is, of course, the best part of Star Wars. For some reason, you're one of the 3 people who's not reading this book, you can jump in on this issue and you'll see why I'm always talking about it. And then real fast, let's talk about all the different ways that Marvel is taking advantage of their awesome library of great comics through reprints. This is the latest issue of Marvel Tales, the Hellstrom issue of Marvel Tales. It is a big old double-sized book that packs all kinds of reprints, has 3 or 4 comics in it. Classic books from eras gone by. Love me some Marvel Tales. They have these for all the different characters. Then also this week, this is your facsimile edition of Avengers number 57, perhaps one of the greatest comics ever made. This is a lot of people's very favorite comic. I know my friend Steve really enjoys this one. All-time classic cover. It's the first appearance of the Vision. What do I mean by facsimile edition? I mean they give you all the original ads, the original letters, pages. It is an exact reprint of how the book was originally back in the day. It's one of my all-time favorites. The Vision is one of my all-time favorites. It's a really, really great book to pick up in a facsimile. And then you got your True Believers, where you get the Black Knight joining the Avengers for just $1. You get the first appearance of Doc Samson, one of every Hulk fan's favorite characters. Love me some Doc Samson. Being able to reread his first appearance for just $1 is a real treat. So there's 3 different ways you can consume some classic Marvel comics. So I really encourage you to take advantage of that. That's a lot of fun. Great week for the other guys too. Norse Mythology is our Dark Horse book of the week because we love anything Neil Gaiman. That's good stuff. And Stranger Things and Dungeons and Dragons. It's our other Dark Horse book of the week. I've been talking about what an awesome era of mashups it is. Got another excellent mashup to talk about here in a minute. You know D&D is a big part of Stranger Things. If you've ever watched Stranger Things, so seeing Stranger Things and Dungeons and Dragons in the same comic is a whole lot of fun. Make sure that makes it into your stack this week. Crossover is your Image book of the week. This is your first issue. Gotta have an Image book of the week. Always talking up these Image first issues. And this one has already exploded across the internet. Doesn't need a whole lot of help from me, but you want to make sure that that one finds it into your stack this week. And Firepower is another one of the new big hits from Image Comics, written by a guy named Robert Kirkman. Maybe you've heard of him. Mighty Morphin #1 is your Boom Studios book of the week because you guys love the MMPR. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers is now 2 books, one called Mighty Morphin, and then you'll get the first issue of Power Rangers here in just a couple of weeks. If you're a fan of the MMPR, you're going to want to grab that one. Year Zero is your AWA book of the week. This is volume 2 of Year Zero. The first volume just exploded. That and Resistance were 2 books that really put AWA on the map. And this is the first issue of the next round. You don't really have to have read the first series, but you can grab the first. Good stuff. Great opportunity to check out what AWA does. And Red Atlantis is a first issue from Aftershock, another publisher we've been talking up, another sort of relatively new publisher that's been doing all kinds of great stuff. And here's another first issue for you to see what that's all about. And then IDW owns the all ages section this week. Star Wars Adventures, The Shadow of Vader's Castle. I love, love, love these Vader's Castles books. The last couple of years, they've done 5-issue miniseries, sort of all ages stories, but kind of creepy crawly just in time for Halloween. Yes, this one's a week late, but it's a ton of fun. You can grab the first 2 series off the website, or just pick up this one shot and enjoy some creepy crawly all ages awesomeness. I love the Star Wars Adventures. And then Transformers My Little Pony is that other mashup that I alluded to earlier. Like I've been saying, all the different publishers have been doing great franchise team-ups, and it just doesn't get any funnier than My Little Pony teaming up with Transformers. As I've been saying, the crazier the title, the better the book. And I don't know, that's just a little gem that everybody should have in their stack. Lots and lots of great books this week, so check those shipping lists. Go to black-cat-comics.com, click shop, click on new this week, and take a look at all the books I've been talking about. Then you pick them up, you read them, you tune in on Saturday for Comic Shop Talk Live, and we talk all about all the awesomeness that's going on in the world of comics. That's all we got for you for this week. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on Saturday.